First up this morning, get ready to be inspired.
Yeah, this book, Overcoming Mediocrity, Courageous Women, is a collection of stories from women who have beaten the odds and now want to encourage others to realize their true potential. So joining us now is Christie Ruffino, who started the project, along with Michele Malo and Deborah McPhee, just two of the 19 contributing authors whose amazing stories you are going to hear about today, which is fantastic. So nice to have all of you ladies here.
Thank you for having us.
I commented to all three of you that the pictures that are on the book, it's just so funny because usually you see people and they don't look anything like they do on their book cover. Right. You guys look exactly like you do. Oh, they have that shot of my They look exactly like your pictures, which is so great. So thank you so much for being here. I want to talk about the book collaboration in a second, but let's start with you, put you on the spot.
Okay, great.
You have an incredible story, Michele. You at one point weighed as much as 310 pounds.
That's correct, yes.
You had gastric bypass surgery at one point and lost, I think, 150 pounds.
Correct.
Gained something like 80 pounds back, which I'm
Yes.
sure was very disappointing. I thought it was interesting in the book that you said you always felt kind of guilty that you did it in a way that seemed kind of simple, or you got help doing it. But then you actually gave up corporate America and became a personal trainer, which is incredible. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And this is a transformative picture of all the weight loss.
Yeah, check
Look
you
at
out
that.
there.
You look like a
fantastic.
different person.
Yeah, I was carrying a whole other person with me, to be quite honest. Knees, back. You know, I was 28 in that picture, so it was about 11 years ago, and I had to really do something, because you can't be 28 and not be able to walk, not be able to get out of bed. There's something to be said that something has to change.
I was so impressed. I wish we had an opportunity to meet your husband, because he's always been really blunt with you. I know you say in the book.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like a whole new person now?
Yeah, you know what, actually I really do, and what gives me inspiration are the folks I actually get to work with, because I've been there. You don't get to be 310 pounds unless you have an eating disorder. And when we talked about corporate America, I worked in the food industry. So when you work in the food industry and you have an eating disorder, that is a really hard thing to try to manage. And so many of the ladies that I actually work with are a lot of corporate women, some of the folks I used to work with actually. And just to inspire them to make time for themselves, and what I always say is to try to bring their sparkle back, to make time for themselves. And we can relate, because there is no judgment, because I've been there and I'm still dealing with it every day. You know, I do like pizza still. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Right.
Well, and I think for women watching at home, one thing that was really poignant that you talk about in your story is that you say that you became a people pleaser.
Yes.
And part of you getting to this point in your life was because you wanted people, you needed accolades constantly. How did that sort of play into the up and down with your weight?
It's almost like I was in denial quite a bit, because the people-pleasing part of it is you're always doing for others. So I was, and I still believe in service to others. I mean, I'm not saying that that's something you should give up, but not at the expense of yourself.
And this is a great message for all the moms out there, dads too, but especially for moms, because you just said exactly, that's who we are as moms, and we're caring for kids and doing stuff for other people constantly. You feel like it's your responsibility. You don't make time for yourself, and it is often at the expense of yourself.
It absolutely is. You have to be able to make the time. And you know, one of those things, because I actually don't have children, but then I threw everything into work. So I became one of those folks, well, she doesn't have kids.
Right.
So
I'll work a 15-hour day.
Exactly. Or I would be the one leaving on Sunday to travel to do whatever. Or I would have to... other folks, I gotta, call my kids. You take care of the customers. Next thing I know, it's midnight, and we've got meetings next, 7 o'clock in the morning as I'm trying to, work with these customers again in the food, all these chefs and so forth, which are amazing. But again, not great when you deal with weight issues.
Yeah, you never turn it off. It's 24 hours. And before we get to your story, Deborah, Christie, I just want to hear from you. Finding these stories, how did you come to decide, I want to share all these wonderful stories, because you have a story of your own as well, and then you brought all these wonderful women together.
Yeah, actually that's the best part of it, is I actually have a women's professional networking organization, and I was asked to be in a project like this a couple years ago, and once I finished the project I just thought, well gosh, why don't I do the same kind of a scenario for the women in my organization, and that's kind of where we came up with the idea, I came up with the idea of doing this book and finding the authors that had the right kind of story to share and that wanted to utilize this as a way to also build their business, becoming an author. So it's kind of like a two-part purpose for it, but once we kind of got the project going and got these women involved and I learned about their stories, it's kind of taking on a life of its own, and it's just really helping so many people.
And the stories are so relatable. Don't
you find yourself saying yes?
Yeah.
Wow, that's me. Or seeing someone you do. It's very relatable.
Absolutely. And your story in the beginning of the book too about giving up being perfect. I mean, it sounds dumb, like, oh, I'm going to give up being perfect. But so many of us hold ourselves to such high standards that we can never get there, and it's very defeating. And Deborah, your story I think is going to be relatable for a lot of women as well. You were married, divorced. Your husband moved you around a lot. You had 3 children. The last time he moved you, you ended up finding out that he was having a relationship with someone in his office. So you made a choice, and your story is about making choices. You moved with your girls. You had no money, no place to live. Then you remarry, sort of on the rebound, maybe, or sort of not a good decision, not a good choice.
I was angry. I got married when I was angry about something else.
Yeah, and what ended up happening is you became kind of a problem for your second husband, and he must have hired some people to kidnap you at knife point.
Yes.
A terrifying experience.
Yes, well, worst day of my life.
At one point you thought you were dead. You saw a bright light and a grandparent, right?
I did. I saw my life flashed in front of my eyes. I saw the white light, my grandfather up at the top of the stairs, and yes, I thought I died. And I woke up in the car. They were shaking me and slapping my face to come to, and right then and there, it's like, I have a decision to make. Am I going to die today or am I going to live today? Pick one.
And you felt like it was that black and white, you could decide at that moment?
That's it. I'm not dying today.
And what I think is amazing is almost the next thing you know, you're driving yourself to a police station.
I stole their car and drove myself to the police station, basically.
I mean, it should be a movie, you know that, right?
They did offer, yes.
Yeah.
And when it was first, well, of course it was 12 years ago, but after the event, yeah, that's what they were saying.
And you took this test that showed the trauma you experienced was off the charts, as high as it could be.
I tested out, I had to take a trauma test the day after the kidnapping, and I tested out in the highest category that a human could be traumatized.
What's your message in your story? What do you want to tell other people? And what I love is what you want to tell your daughters through the choices that you've made.
Well, yes. The message is, well, first of all, everyone, even in a happy marriage, you have to have a plan B. You have to have an exit plan. You have to know, if this happens, what am I going to do? So you always have to have in the back of your mind, even in the happiest of marriages, that you need to stand on your own ground and be your own person.
Even have an exit plan?
Have an exit plan. And, you know, that goes for careers, that goes for your job, that goes for your relationships, always. If this doesn't work out, what am I going to do next? Or
if there's women watching, because I think a lot of people are in situations that they feel are unhealthy, but they don't leave. If someone's watching and saying, you know, I feel like I'm in a situation that I'm not sure if this person could hurt me in the future, did you have signs looking back? Were there signs at all that this was not a healthy situation for you?
Now that I look back, yes.
Yeah.
But when I was in it...
What were they?
The signs? Just he wasn't part of the family. We were there, but he wasn't part of the family. It was,
and you weren't trusting your gut.
I didn't trust my gut. Right.
We have that intuition, and so often I think we just let it go, and we say, you know what? Oh, it's just me worrying about something. That gut means something. You know, we really do have to learn, especially as women, to trust that gut.
I think so too. So I don't know how you go about finding these women. What I love is this is your second book. You've got a lot of other incredible stories beyond just the 2 courageous women we have sitting here on our yellow couch. I like that you have big goals, big aspirations, dreams of making this something like the chicken soup for your soul.
I sure
and
do.
just collecting stories of courageous women wherever you go. How do you find these ladies, though? How do you vet them?
Well, you know, the first book was pretty much made up of women from my organization, and the word has just been traveling, and you know, we've done a lot to try to get exposure for the authors, and now we're starting on our next book, so I actually have some authors that we've been interviewing already to just, you know, make sure that they align with what our mission is, and it's you know, it's just been great.
Tiffany and I are available to be in the next edition. We're courageous women.
Everyone has a story,
Yes.
and you know, and not all are as dramatic, but so many are so personal and profound, and can really help other people.
Well, what I say when women, you know, when I talk to women, is they sometimes don't feel that their story is that important,
right?
You know, because they've gone through it. Like, I didn't think my story was that important when somebody asked me to be in a book. and we just do it. We're women. We make it happen. But if our story can just change one person's life or give inspiration to one person or just, you know, change somebody else's life, it's just really worth it.
I love it. And Michele, I love your message about girlfriends too. You even call out our producer Katie as being a friend who stuck by you even when you were heavy and probably felt like you didn't deserve friends or good relationships.
Well, I just was, when we talk about relationships and being absent, I was all about work. You know, and so they always called it kind of that "Where's Waldo" syndrome. Oh, we're going out. Let's text Michele and see where in the world is Michele.
Yeah.
And they never left me. They always stuck by me. They were always proud of me because I did really well in my career. I was a marketing person, and I loved it, and I loved all the places I worked. But I had to find true happiness. So even though it seems like the path you should be on, sometimes you got to just stop and step back and go, but there's always a different path, and let's look a little bit closer for that. So, yeah, like I said, I had all kinds of angels in my life, and Katie's definitely one of them.
And good for Katie and good for your husband for supporting your dream, too, and your change later in life. So, a couple things we want to tell you. First of all, starting with an event where you can meet the authors. It is happening tomorrow. That's April 24th, and that's at the Crazy Pour Sports Bar. I can't think of a better place for you to be. It's on East North Avenue in Villa Park. So, this is in Illinois. But an opportunity to meet these ladies and other authors who are featured in this incredible book. Again, that's in Illinois, and you can find out more by looking at the website, visiting the website you see there at the bottom of your screen. And we also wanted to mention that this book is available. Again, it's called Courageous Women, Overcoming Mediocrity. It is available starting this Friday, the 25th. You'll want to pick up a copy, and you can do that by visiting Amazon.com.
Thanks so much.
So awesome to start our day with you guys.
Thank you so much for having
Great.
us.
Thanks so much.
Great, ladies.
Great job.
Thank you.